I can. Let me do that.
All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to BRIC's Talent and Education Day as part of our 2026 BRIC Summit. My name is Sarah. Ignore my name tag on the bottom here. I'm BRIC's Director of Communications, and welcome to Lemoncheeks Animation Cooperative, building a more inclusive cooperative for inclusive storytelling. Lemoncheeks here are the winners of our first ever animation co-op grant, which launched last year. So we're very excited to welcome them to our summit to talk a little bit more about, what has it been like to create this cooperative really from the ground up, and to talk more about the animated short that they're working on producing right now. So I'll hand it over to the owners and the creatives behind Lemoncheeks. That's Jackie, Lauren, and Frank. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Hello and welcome. We are Lemoncheeks Animation Cooperative, and we are excited to be here today. We are going to be talking about building our cooperative for animated storytelling, who we are, what we're working on, and what our goals are.
Yeah, so a little bit about us, about who we are, why we're doing this, and why Lemon Cheeks. Um, so we are a California-based worker cooperative of 3 artists, hello from San Fran and LA, with a mission to tell inclusive original stories through animation. Um, with the help of BRIC, we're able to carry out our ideas in the form of an animation co-op. We believe animation can be a powerful way to amplify underrepresented voices. As a cooperative rooted in bicultural perspective, we want to create work that reflects and honors the richness of our communities and experiences. I feel like there's many animated media out there that promotes diversity through cultural representation. My favorite being Amphibia. So I think those examples are great inspirations of why we're doing this using the media that we do choose. Lastly, lemon cheeks are the two knobs at the end of a lemon. We just thought that was a very delightful word.
Okay, so what is a worker cooperative? If you don't know, it's a business owned and operated by its employees. Power is distributed equally with one vote per member, and profits are distributed based on participation called patronage, meaning what you work is what you get paid. Worker owners democratically share decisions, share wealth, and share their visions and culture. Worker cooperatives generally appoint a board of directors for operations. Since we're a small cooperative, we're all on the board with different roles.
At Lemoncheeks, creativity and inclusion are two of our core values, and there are many reasons why cooperatives are a great model to support creativity and inclusion. The first is ownership as the foundation of inclusion, so we can intentionally build goals, rules, and membership reflecting the communities that we want to serve and elevate. We can also have democratic hiring and membership, equitable pay structures, and creative decision-making collectively, which allows for all of us to have creative empowerment and a say in the artwork and creativity aspects of it. We collectively set our working conditions. We have teamwork, shared risk, and resilience, and reinvestment in the community. We really hope to share our identities and culture through our art and create more opportunities for underrepresented artists and build that community. So now that you've got an introduction to our cooperative, we'll be introducing ourselves. I'm Jackie Allex. I'm a creative technologist and pipeline TD/technical artist based in San Francisco, and I've worked in animated films, VFX, games, and theme park experiences. Some projects I've worked on are Inside Out 2, Elio, and Alice in Borderland Season 3. And I'm really excited to tell meaningful stories with rich, multi-textured visual experiences through our projects here.
Hi, I'm Lauren Alex. I'm a 2D mixed media animator and primarily a short filmmaker, where I show my films at screenings and festivals. Currently, I'm in LA and I studied at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. I'm interested in inventive visuals to convey character-based storytelling.
And I'm Frank. I'm an illustrator based in LA. I am born and raised in China, but at the age of 15, I came to the US for high school and spent basically the last 10 years in the United States. Currently, I'm working in the animation industry as a background painter and color script artist at Titmouse. I've worked on Legend of Vox Machina and Haunted Hotel. Besides industry work, I also do freelance illustration for people who like D&D, like Critical Role. And also, part of my new journey is making art for an indie game dev team, which will be exciting.
Okay, on to our current creative project. Um, we're currently in production on a short film about a moth girl named Poppy living with her mom. Her mom moved from her village to live in an insect community with her daughter, and we will explore the relationship between them and how it is affected by growing up in different cultures, and including the complexities of bicultural identity.
Our short is going to explore questions like what does it mean to grow up in two cultures at once? How do both love and misunderstanding coexist between an immigrant parent and their child? And what are the small rituals and idiosyncrasies that carry whole histories? For our project, we really want to emphasize the human created intention and emotion behind it. Me and Lauren's mom immigrated from Hong Kong to the US for opportunities, and Frank grew up in China. So all of us have bicultural backgrounds, which is really the foundation of our story. And the short is based on our relationships with our moms and feeling like we're growing up in two cultures at once. So we really want to share our authentic voices and our experiences through it.
And we're currently in pre-production, so we're working on story and design. Here's one collage style frame of Poppy and her mom in the kitchen. Um, here's Poppy's turnaround design. Her shirt was inspired by the White Rabbit candy, and the scarf is like a koi fish, and you can see her wings and her antennas to show that she's a moth person. And then here's the mom's turnaround. Her attire is inspired by Tiger Balm and kind of incorporating those colors and patterns. And here's some of the designs, going for a children's book sort of style. Here's her mom haggling at a fruit stand while she's looking at a fruit. Here's Poppy and her mom arguing. Maybe she woke up too late, you know. And then here's getting a haircut at home from her mom, since our mom would always, me and Jackie's mom would always give us our haircuts at home, and we thought it was a nice, tender moment.
So the goal of our film, through this work, we want to actively contribute to a more inclusive animation industry by creating work that reflects Asian, immigrant, and mixed race experiences. We want to provide a space for underrepresented creatives to lead and tell their own stories, and finally creating opportunities and examples for cooperative models that supports this artist equity.
So thus far, we've gone over a lot of the why we've created our cooperative and our project. And before we continue on to the next part of our presentation, where we go over how we've created our cooperative, I'd love to invite you all to connect with us, ask questions, follow our creative projects. Yeah, please reach out, connect, and keep in touch as we support each other and build community together.
Okay, so our journey to incorporating, generally going through the process of how we incorporated our business. So we opted to incorporate as a cooperative corporation in the state of California. Many thanks to BRIC's vision and belief in creators joining forces to build sustainable, equitable businesses that put their values first and uphold diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We believe that the cooperative corporation is the best way to sustainably operate a business based on equality. Okay, and for creating our cooperative corporation in California, we first needed to have at least 3 members to constitute the board of directors. And then we prioritized making our governing documents, the bylaws, which outline how we will be governed, articles of incorporation, and membership agreement, which we all signed. And all our documents are kept on file. And then the articles of incorporation were submitted to the Secretary of State for a fee of $30. The initial statement of information for the annual report was submitted as well for $20. And then we applied for an EIN, which is an employer identification number. It's a federal tax ID number for your business. And then we created a bank account to handle financials.
Yes, more behind the scenes of how we incorporated. We were also really lucky to stand on the shoulders of giants, and we had many resources that were critical to helping us incorporate. So we're so grateful to all these resources and would love to share. And if you have any questions about any of these resources, feel free to reach out as well. But USFWC and SELC has great YouTube series you can find by Googling or reaching out to us, explaining cooperatives, how to incorporate. And also, we took inspiration from some art, gaming, and animation cooperatives that we looked up to for inspiration and example. There's a creative worker co-op toolkit, and SELC, Sustainable Economics Law Center, offers free online legal cafes where you can tune in and just join the video call, and some experts will give you advice and directly answer your questions. Bite-sized legal guides and example templates for bylaws, articles of incorporation, membership agreement that we used as our foundations to get started. And LA Co-op Lab has free consultations, which we also utilized. We'd also like to shout out Legends Animated, which is a nonprofit 501c3, which is intended to help independent filmmakers and cooperatives thrive. And there's discounted lawyer sessions for co-ops with Impact Matters Law. We use them to help review our documents and ensure that they were all legally sound before we filed them. So the financials for our co-op, we budgeted for fixed legal fees. California's $800 minimum franchise tax, which is waived for your first year as a co-op corporation in California. Co-op filing fee, equipment, and production supplies, just keeping all of these in mind as we budget. And we also keep track of our film's budget each week and consider necessary costs for the future too, such as film festivals, submission fees, and keeping our website domain alive, and more.
And also we take a measure to stay on top of it, which means every week we aim to check in with our progress through remote call, either video or voice. And every month we aim to have a co-op board meeting where we talk about bigger pictures like concerns, what's working, what's not working, or any change in our general direction. And if there's any time we need extra meetings, like we want to share our ideas or sketches or whatever other things we come up, creative jams and extra meetings are, inserted as needed. We keep all our sketches, ideas, and documents in a Google Drive. And then we also rotate responsibility of note-taking during calls so that all members can equally engage in our discussion. As I said, we maintain a production schedule and timelines as Google Sheets document. And for all the above, we maintain democratic decision-making. All operational changes from software shift to payroll adjustment require a consensus or a majority vote among the 3-member owners. So we talk about our present. What about our future? We want to uphold diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, and then grow the community. Because we want to create work that reflects our unique perspective and lived experiences while resonating with other people from different backgrounds. We don't want our story to just stay as introspection. want them to lead toward intercultural connection. We create animated projects, share our work through events like film festivals and online spaces. We aim to build upon these spaces that already exist, not just to showcase our work, but to learn from others and be inspired by others. We want to raise fund by to enable more creative projects to help foster more artists like ourselves. We hope our work and our process can serve as an example to encourage other artists and creators to pursue passion-driven projects, whether through short films or co-ops or both. And that can take many forms. Just yesterday, we're just ideating of like what the future of Poppy's and her mom's story can become. We're thinking, what if we combine our skills and make like a interactable illustration of Poppy's village in the form of a website? And maybe we can even do a day and night cycle of that. Maybe we can have the villagers walk around and you can interact with them. There's many possibilities ahead of us, and we're excited to see what we can make. And thank you, BRIC, for making this possible.
Yep, so that just about wraps up our presentation. But once again, please connect with us. We're here. We want this to be a conversation. We want to be a resource, and we want to share our work to you as well. So feel free to stay connected with us through this QR code. Yeah, thank you so much for tuning in.
Hi, would we be able to answer a couple of questions potentially?
And yes, thank you. And please feel free to submit questions. We're here to answer it. Yeah.
We have a bunch coming in. I'm Stacy. I am I'm not Sarah. I am the BRIC Summit producer, and I'm just happy to help moderate these questions for you. So Robin asks, what are the benefits of incorporating as opposed to working with one owner? If we're interested in creating a project, I'd like to know what helped you decide going the co-op, how the co-op route worked for you.
Yeah, I can answer this question. So I think especially for creative projects, if you want to work together as a team and you want to be able to bring in funds to be able to create your project, while being able to make rules yourself for how you work, have equitable pay structures, and collectively set your working conditions. In a co-op, the ownership sets forth how you work. So instead of like really top-down corporations, a cooperative is just like a really beautiful way to be able to work together in a sustainable and equitable way. So yeah, if you want to work with a team rather than just yourself, and you want to be able to create a corporation to do that, a co-op, we really believe is like a great way to incorporate for creativity and inclusion and having your voice be heard.
I also think that especially if you intend to grow, setting that sort of structure is important for the equity part of the whole creative process. Yeah.
Amazing. Genevieve's asking, is it possible to start a co-op based in California, but with residents from different countries, or does this complicate the legal ramifications of establishing the co-op?
I believe it is possible from a different state, but different country, I would have to check the legal implications. It might be a bit more complicated, but yeah, I'm not totally sure about that. If you reach out to us, though, we can do a little research and get back to you. But great question. Yeah.
That is a really good question. Maybe that's something that we at BRIC can also put on our co-op information page. Sian is asking, the cooperative model is so powerful, but not a lot of people know about it. How did you find out about the cooperative model? And what would you tell students about going cooperative versus capitalistic model?
Well, we found out about the cooperative model from BRICS. BRIC had a lot of just like resources and spread the word from the BRIC Summit in 2024 about cooperatives because they believe that in a more equitable future for artists. So we found out about it through BRICS co-op grant program, which there actually will be one for this year as well, and we encourage people to apply for it. But we got started through BRIC's co-op grant that got us kickstarted and funded in the beginning. And yeah, I wish that I think it is becoming more and more known, and there's not too many creative cooperatives that are super well known. So we're trying to bolster that and like create a better future for that. And I think for small creators especially, it's really beneficial as opposed to the more capitalist mindset where we have shared risk and resilience, and that's what's driving forward the growth of our cooperative. Um, and we're just growing in that together in the teamwork for our small team here. Yeah, Lauren and Frank, did you have anything else to add on that question?
Yeah, um, I think that getting more resources out for making this sort of business model is important, which is why I'm so glad that Frick's doing it, and Legends Animated as well, because right now there are when we were doing our research, it did seem easier at first to make an LLC instead of a co-op corporation because there's already a precedent for it. And I think by having lemon cheeks and uh, creating more of them in the future with BRIC's next grant, we'll start creating the precedent to make um, animation studios as co-ops. And I think that it's only going to get easier as we keep going and share more resources.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Frank.
oh, I just want to add, aside from that, there's a lot of people also aiming to help inspiring creatives to make co-op easier. There's a lot of co-op like legal cafes that like specialize in helping people to navigate the process more smoothly, and a lot of them offer a free talk just to get things started. So anybody curious should seek those out too.
Um, yeah, and I just want to shout out that from the Creative Worker Co-op Toolkit that BRIC helped create and share, there's some examples of other creative worker cooperatives apart from us. So I'll just list a few in case anyone wants to look into their work as well. But there's the Means Cooperative, Lucid Tales, Motion Twin, ACCI Gallery, City Arts Cooperative Gallery, and Tailspinners. So those are some others that are doing kind of like the same initiative as us.
So it sounds like there's a shared risk, but there's also a bit more stability when you go in the cooperative model as opposed to a capitalistic model, which is can be very feast or famine, and individual risk is kind of at play there. Interesting. Jen is asking, curious about finances for the short itself, grants, Kickstarter, private funding, and what was the startup costs for the co-op and how you generate money to pay people. Also, how is health insurance handled? So that's a lot of questions in one. You can break it apart. Maybe first, just tell me about the financing of the short.
Yep. Yeah, so we dedicated part of our funding into the co-op creation first, and then the rest of it we're using to pay for our short through like paying ourselves for our worker hours used, as well as equipment like cameras, softwares, anything else we'll need to use, and to finance eventually something to short film festivals and for distributing online. And we're also currently looking into kind of Kickstarter and crowdfunding solutions. And we're looking forward to partnering with Legends Animated for that because their nonprofit status can help bring in funds with more tax benefits. And yeah, so there's a lot of resources that are kind of like coming together to help in the community of cooperatives. Yeah, anything else to add?
What were the other parts of the question again?
What was the startup cost for the co-op?
Yeah, so it was around $30 to actually submit our incorporation to the Secretary of State and all of our documents to start it. And apart from that, we just spent other funding on some lawyer time. So I shared the lawyer that we use, but it's Impact Matters Law, and they gave us discounts. They give discounts for cooperatives because they really want to help give their work towards corporations that they think have a good impact on the community, including cooperatives. So we booked just a couple hours with them to have them review our documents as well. I would say, yeah, like startup costs in total, maybe around like $250 to $300, and plus like all of our time spent researching, putting together everything on our own.
Mhm.
That's interesting because an LLC in California is going to have your $800 yearly fee. So it almost sounds like your startup fees for the co-op were less than an LLC fee would be anyway.
Yeah, $100 fee, but for the first year for co-op corporations, it is waived. But every other year after that, it will come into play.
They'll still get their cut. And then do you handle health insurance in your co-op for each other?
Yeah, Lauren, do you want to talk about the waiver?
Yeah, we put together a waiver with our lawyer that we all signed to acknowledge that we had individual health insurance. Um, since we were trying to make sure our costs weren't too great. And we all do have individual health insurance, so um, yeah, we just did that, and we worked with the lawyer to make that waiver.
Yeah, it is possible to provide health insurance, but since we have individual health insurance already, we worked with the lawyer, and they provided us a legally sound waiver, that we hold on our end. But yep, I guess when putting together your cooperatives, we do recommend just like reviewing like the basic foundations with the lawyer first, just to make sure like as you're submitting things, it is legally sound.
Two more questions. Currently, there might be more. How much of the film project did you have imagined before you were able to start applying for the co-op structure?
So we thought of this project as we were thinking that we wanted to apply to BRIC's co-op grant, creative co-op grant. So me and Lauren and Frank put our minds together and actually just created this project, knowing that we wanted to work together on something bigger, knowing that we were interested in cooperatives and we wanted to become a team together. Yeah, we actually didn't have the idea, but once we saw the grant, then we put our minds together and created all the ideas for the short film we wanted to make. And it kind of has been in tandem with creating the co-op. So they've been working side by side. Like we've been creating the project idea as we're creating the co-op as well.
Amazing. Last question currently, but still, if there are more, feel free to pop in. Robin is asking, are there any risks specific to co-ops that we should be on the lookout for when starting one? Coming from a more LLC background, I'm curious if there's anything unique that we might not know to consider in the co-op.
I would say that LLC is a bit more flexible in the structure than co-op corporation. So co-op corporation has a more rigid rules, I guess, to really make sure that it's based in equity, like all of the aspects of being a co-op are in place. So I think LLC is definitely a much more flexible structure, and you could operate your LLC as a co-op. That is another viable solution, but we chose to incorporate as a co-op corporation because we wanted to make sure that it upholds all of the, I guess, standards, structure, equity, and sustainability and workers' voice that comes with a cooperative. And yeah, I guess nothing else I can think of to be on the lookout for except that yeah, there's just like more standards in place that you will have to follow to make sure that it is upheld to a co-op corporation.
Oh, we did get one more question if you're open to it. Layla is asking, as you continue to look to the future, what place do you see animation co-ops in the already existing studio landscape? Are there any long-term goals you have for Lemoncheeks down the line, after a couple of shorts or after a couple of years?
I think maybe I can talk about it. I think the reason why we got together in the first place is that we each, as artists and creatives, working in pretty different fields, we all have our personal projects, ideas, and stories that we want to tell. And then we thought it's good to put our skills together and make a structure that supports it so that we can tackle those tasks one-on-one, one at a time. Um, I believe after the story of Poppy and her mom, there's a lot of other stories and works we envision in different medium that has lined up for us. Um, so Poppy, I think, is just our start with Lemoncheeks. Um, Again, all these goals are we adapt them and see what to change with the outcome of our project. But ideally, we will start going through all our individual ideas and stories that we want to tell and just keep making them.
Amazing. Lauren, did you want to add anything to that?
Um, yeah, I think that what Jackie said and what Frank said, and also um the ability to have all of the workers also be owners in a cooperative was a very important part to me compared to the capitalist structure that's happening right now. Because so many, I mean, you hear so many stories about workers not getting fair payment for the amount of work they put in animation and things like AI. In this structure, the people on top would be the same as the people working. So you would be able to make these decisions from a standpoint that just feels more fair and is, um, yeah, it just feels more equitable to me. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's going to be a powerful um, kind of structure for the future because there is a sort of call for this sort of change going on right now, I think.
And just building off of what Lauren said too, yeah, I completely agree. And I think like having like a small creative cooperative just like really empowers you to like be a worker owner and make your creative decisions collectively together. Like each one of us has creative say, and it's kind of different from like I guess just like a rigid structure where there's director and then you're reporting directly to your supervisors and you are fulfilling like the goal of like each person above you, and the vision of each person above you. But together as worker owners, like it's guaranteed that everyone will have creative empowerment and creative say, and creative stakes in the project. So yeah, again, back to that teamwork, shared risk, but also shared resilience and shared creativity. I think yeah, it's just like a beautiful way to empower other people and empower your own team.
I'm thinking down the line in the future, if you would like to recruit more artists, if you are ready to grow, what a great recruitment tool to say, like, you'll become a creator owner as well. Like, you're not going to be a worker bee, you're going to be empowered in this as well. So as you grow, that might be really interesting for artists and that might, make a difference for them.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, sorry. I was just agreeing.
Jen is asking about the health insurance again, and I know that since y'all signed a waiver, I'll just briefly mention that if you do expand and you do need to add coverage. There are a couple of different ways for small businesses, especially to do that. Back in the day, I set up something called TriNet, which is a payroll company that you can add health insurance to. The employer can pay for part of, and then off options to employees. So are tons of like payroll plus health insurance softwares out there, and I'm not sure which one's going to be the most competitive right now. But there are definitely lots of options as you expand in your co-op to add benefits, to add 401k benefits, things like that. So you'll just, as you grow and as you get full income into the business, those are some things that you can look at. But maybe when you're just getting started out, that all that infrastructure may not be necessary just to get started and to build from there. You can always add. And then is there a website where we can learn more about Lemoncheeks?
Yep, yeah. I will paste it again in the chat, so please feel free to follow along our journey. We just incorporated in January of this year, so it's actually only been a couple months for us being incorporated and officially working on our short film. So we are kind of a good example, like bare bones, like we just started as a small creative cooperative, and we will be growing in our journey of our creative project and our short film. So we're excited for you to follow along with us.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. And we're so grateful that you are our winners, and we're so excited to see what you do next and support your short. Everyone, thank you so much for joining this webinar. We're very grateful to have you. Please feel free to check out our other stages. We do have other sessions going. Okay, so please free and join us.
Yay, thank you so
Y'all.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay, I think
bye.
we leave. Bye.